You're listening to Digging Star Wars, the online journal of the films that inspired George Lucas to create the Star Wars saga. Hello, I'm your host, Chris Mitch, and in this episode of Digging Star Wars, we're going to talk about David O. Selznick's Gone with the Wind and its influence on The Empire Strikes Back. Okay, there is so much to say about the magnitude of Gone with the Wind, I can't possibly cram it all into this episode. What I can say is this. Just how good is it? Well, it won 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture of 1939. It's listed as number 4 on American Film Institute's 100 Best American Movies, and has the number 1 movie quote of all time, according to another Top 100 list from AFI. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's long, nearly 4 hours in length, but it is certainly worth it. And if you ever have the chance to see it on the big screen, please do so. It's an entirely different experience. It's wonderful old-time movie watching, complete with an overture, an intermission break with music. You actually have to get up out of your seats and talk to people about the movie in the middle of the movie, which I think is fascinating. It makes going to the movies a more communal experience, which I personally feel is sorely lacking these days. So, what does Gone with the Wind have to do with The Empire Strikes Back? For those of you not listening in on my blog, go to diggingstarwars.blogspot.com, and you'll see the 1967 re-release poster of Gone with the Wind by artist Tom Young, and the Style A poster of The Empire Strikes Back by artist Roger Castell. Lucasfilm informally referred to Castell's poster as the Gone with the Wind version of The Empire Strikes Back, since Han is holding Leia much like Rhett Butler holds Scarlett O'Hara within Tom Young's poster for Gone with the Wind. While Leia shares a few traits with the devious Scarlett, Han shares a lot of traits with Rhett. Namely, both are considered the best in regards to their skills with a gun. Both are independent contractors who are reluctant to officially join the rebel military, and both are chasing a woman out of their designated social class. More concretely, Rhett's dialogue with Scarlett echoes 2 key phrases of Han's. Rhett tells Scarlett, "You could use a good kiss," a line Han uses on Leia early on in Empire. In Gone's final scene, after Scarlett proclaims her love for Rhett, Rhett walks away. When Scarlett pushes the matter with, "Whatever will I do?" Rhett replies the infamous line, "Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn." While not as cold as Rhett, Han's reply of, "I know," to Leia's, "I love you," is unexpected and non-committal. Even the sets, where both the Gone and Empire scenes take place, share their looks, red steps with plenty of steam and fog about the characters. Which leads me to another commonality between these films, the representation of war and its relation to a city. Gone with the Wind's Atlanta is very similar to Empire's Cloud City of Bespin. In Gone, one character refers to Atlanta with the quote, "The war won't come here." This type of dialogue is very similar to the conversation between Han, Leia, and Lando. It culminates in Lando's comment, "I just made a deal that will keep the Empire out of here forever." War comes to both Atlanta and Bespin. In Gone, Atlanta is being bombed and burned, and people are fleeing, carrying odd items like full-sized harps as they escape. In Bespin, once Lando tells his people to flee as the Empire is taking control of the city, people scatter and scurry, carrying odds and ends, including an ice cream maker. Even the earth colors of Gone with the Wind, the sunset fire oranges and the dirt and famine browns, are echoed in Cloud City's exterior designs and the Imperial occupation of Bespin that occurs at sunset. Finally, I'd like to discuss the blogging component of this podcast. Both Gone with the Wind and The Empire Strikes Back have an interesting history of representing African Americans. Gone with the Wind is more notorious, idealizing the Old South with simpleton slaves and the like. Interestingly enough, Hattie McDaniel's performance of Mammy the house servant is both a blaring stereotype of the female black slave and garnered her an Academy Award, the first ever Academy Award won by an African American. But is Empire's Lando Calrissian a stereotype? I recently read an essay that commented on how black characters in film have evolved from non-existent to ridiculed to subservient to enforcer. While Gone romanticizes a time of cruelty and dehumanizing of blacks, Empire positions Lando as a leader, somewhat ridiculed by Han Solo, subservient to Darth Vader, and an administrator of Cloud City before becoming a respected hero. The very inclusion of Lando could also be in response to the criticism that the original Star Wars movie was overwhelmingly white. Minority background characters would only later be added in the special edition. Another note regarding black invisibility in Star Wars, The Gone with the Wind version of the Empire poster was phased out after a phone call from Billy D. Williams' agent complaining, "Where's Lando?" Lando's non-essentialness was ironically displayed by his absence from the Gone with the Wind version of the Empire poster. Lucasfilm promptly addressed the issue and asked the same artist to create a new poster, making sure Lando was not only included, but given considerable real estate in the new Style B design. The flip side of all this is that Lando is another pirate with a heart of gold, like Han Solo, arguably the coolest character Star Wars has to offer. So that's my question for you to consider. Is Lando a stereotype? What messages are truly being transmitted in a black character that's presented as a gambler, scoundrel, and double dealer, as well as a leader, successful businessman, and rebel against the oppressive empire? And with that, I want to say thanks for listening. Please look for our next episode on diggingstarwars.blogspot.com, where we compare and contrast my favorite Star Wars film, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, with Fritz Lang's 1927 silent sci-fi masterpiece, Metropolis.
Digging Star Wars is produced by Mitch Media and has no connection to Lucasfilm Limited whatsoever. Copyrights for films, trademark characters, and related materials discussed in Digging Star Wars remain with their respective owners. For a list of references or source material, please send an email to diggingstarwars@gmail.com.